everyone. Welcome to part 2 of our two-part video showing how Accelerate can integrate with other DevOps tools to provide a complete visibility into the flow of work from ideation to production. Now in part 1, we saw how Accelerate integrates with Jira and GitHub to provide an end-to-end traceability of a work item originating in Jira and then link that with the code commit and pull requests that were done by the developers Carol and Andy. The best part of it all is that Accelerate does all of these behind the scenes, leaving Andy and Carol to focus on delivering the actual change itself. In today's video, we are going to see how that work item that has been completed by Carol and approved by Andy is going to traverse through the deployment pipeline orchestrated by HCL Launch, our continuous deployment solution. And when we go into the pipeline view of our value stream, you'll see that there are two components to this system. But since our change is only made to the crypto trader application, that will be our focus for today. So over here, we can see three versions of our crypto trader application. The first is our dev version. This is the QA version, and this is the production version. Okay, and here is our Jenkins build pipeline that I'm triggering manually now, but in a real scenario would likely be automatically triggered the moment the code has been approved and merged. Now, as the pipeline runs, you can see the version is 21031. And we've speed up the process here. And once the build is completed, it's been deployed to a package repository and deployed into the CI environment, which is our dev environment. So over here in Accelerate, you can see now that version has changed to 21031 and moved into the dev system as well. And if we go to the application and do a refresh, the version of it that's running in dev, you can see that change has been deployed there. And if we go to the QA version, you'll see that it is still the old version 21030. Okay, so from Accelerate, what we could then do is to trigger the pipeline deployment to deploy the application into the QA system. Now, since there's no change to the COM manager component, we just want to deploy Crypto Trader for now. Clicking on the starting deployment link, we can go to launch and we can effectively launch starting the process of deploying 21031. Okay, we'll start drilling in. We can see that the process is now running. And if we open up the process, we can see the step-by-step activities that went on to deploy that package into the QA environment, or what is called the CT environment here. In a little while, you'll see this version number updated in Accelerate. And if we go back to the value stream view, we can now see that that work item has moved into the QA system here. Right? And if we click on that dot, we can now see an audit trail of that work item as it moves across the deployment landscape. Okay, and if we go to the actual QA system, we can now see that that new version of the application has been deployed, while the production version is still the older version. Going to the pipeline view, we can now do that same process and trigger off the deployment into the production system. Now the same process repeats itself, and when launch has completed the process, you see that version updated in Accelerate. Accelerate also captures this in its release management screen that you can see here. And from here, we can connect directly back to launch to look at the exact steps that launch took to deploy that application component. So coming back to Accelerate, if we go back to the value stream view, Okay, we can now see that that work item is now finally made its way into production.